Hey guys, what's up? Some of you may know that I have a gargoyle gecko, and considering there's not a lot of people that know about these fun little guys, I thought it would be a good idea if I went over a little care video for them. To start off, you're going to need a 12 by 12 by 18 tank, which should be somewhere around 10 gallons. You're also going to want a heat lamp that's about 20 to 25 watts, as well as a UVB lamp. You don't actually need the UVB lamp, but I find that it helps the geckos to stay a little more active. You'll want to feed your gecko 2 to 3 times a week, depending on the age, and eventually, at around 2 to 3 years, your gecko should be 7 to 9 inches in length. Hides are very important to make your gecko feel safe and secure. You'll want to have at least one of these lying around the tank. This hide is magnetic and can be bought on PangeaReptile.com for a little bit over $25. A good assortment of fake or live plants is healthy, as well as a couple vines. I have two here. A smaller one to hold the food bowl and support the plants, and another one to wrap around the tank for the gecko to climb on. A styrofoam wall is ideal, especially if you want your gecko to be able to get up and move around on the higher parts of the tank. A heating pad is optional if your tank still isn't getting warm enough, but it's not necessary if it is. This heating pad is for 1 to 5 gallons, but I feel it works well on a 10-gallon. You'll need to have appropriate space, as well as at least one warm side and one cold side for your gecko. A water bowl is unnecessary since the gecko will lick the water off of the walls to stay hydrated, but it's optional and can help boost the humidity if you want to add one. Gargoyle geckos live for 15 to 25 years on average and can vary in lifespan. Mostly, what's going to determine their lifespan is the amount of food they're eating and the proper care that they're getting. Any animal with proper care can live a long time, so you're going to make sure you want to take care of these guys. They're not the easiest pets for beginners, but they are pretty easy to take care of. Mostly, you're going to want to know what you're doing. If you start off this hobby not knowing what to do, then you're going to be in for a few rough surprises, especially if you find that your gecko is escaping. I will warn you, with these foam backgrounds, you can actually have your gecko escape. Over here, let me get a better angle. Over here, you can see that there's a hole in the top a little ways, and the gecko can actually slide through that little bit of space and get out if you're not careful enough. The first time I brought Echo home, that's the name of my gecko, I had to fish him out of there, and I'm sure that was a traumatizing experience for both of us, so it's best just to be careful and tape it off. You can also use one of these lights that goes over the top, but I would recommend a heat lamp since they're a little bit better for giving off heat. A few things you should probably know about gargoyle geckos is that 1, they're very prone to biting, especially if they're scared. I've been bitten by Echo at least half a dozen times in the past year. Most of them were actually from when he was a baby that he bit me, which is to be expected from most geckos. But, I mean, this is just kind of excessive. I've never been bit this many times by any other reptile. So, yeah. Also, they do not have sticky pads. They cannot cling to surfaces such as plastic or metal or glass. So, gonna want to be aware of that when setting up their tank. The initial cost should be somewhere above $120. If you set up their tank for under $100, you know that you're not doing it right. Either you've missed out on something important like a light fixture, or you're getting the bare minimum. Never get the bare minimum with reptiles. It is always best to go for quality over quantity, like I said before. So just make sure if you want to have, because this pet is your responsibility. So make sure if you want to have a long-lived reptile that is happy and healthy, you go the extra mile. Gargoyle geckos do pretty well in the market now, but this wasn't always the case. Only in the past couple years have they actually gone up in popularity. You can usually find them for around $50 to $500 at expos. Probably around 50 to 200 as babies and 200 to 500 as adults. So you're going to be looking at kind of a costly expense here, but that's to be expected with reptiles like these, especially of the Rhacodactylus variety. The only one exempt from this is probably crested geckos since they're so widely sold. But yeah, honestly, this is one of my favorite geckos. I highly recommend getting this if you know what you're doing. If not, I would start with something like the common leopard gecko or even a crested gecko. Leopard gecko would be ideal. But yeah, so if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments and I will answer each and every one of them. It's not like I have much else going on in my life. Alright, peace out. Hello, Chip. You want to say hi to the viewers? Keeping reptiles can be fun, but it's also very time consuming. Mostly it's going to be cleaning up after your reptile that takes the most out of your day. So my recommendation would be to go the extra mile and spend some time setting up a bioactive enclosure. Then you can get isopods and have them eat the gecko's waste products and leftover food. It really does save you a lot of time, and I'm definitely going to get one pretty soon. The only problem with bioactive setups is that they can be costly. You're looking at upwards of $200 to set up a tank full of live plants. And you're not going to want to do this with a small tank. You're going to want to go to probably around 20 gallons in order to do this. Supplies you'll need are a good, decent spray bottle. This one's definitely my favorite that I've had. It really just soaks the tank. And that's what you're going to need. Especially since the tank can dry out really fast with a heat lamp. You're also going to want a cup of some sort to hydrate the eco-earth, if you choose to use that, and you're going to want some good Pangea or Repashy to feed your gecko. I use growth and breeding since Echo is a little on the scrawny side for his age, but I would use the avocado or mango or banana. Because he seems to react pretty well to those. So I have almost all of the flavors right now, and I kind of alternate during his feeding schedule. I'll also feed him these waxworms occasionally. I got these from a reptile expo. I'm not trying to advertise anything here. These just happen to be the products that I have. So, yeah. You can get these, or you can get whatever's cheapest on Amazon. It really doesn't matter. In the reptile world, you're not really going for quantity, you're going for quality. So I'd go the extra mile and get something a little more expensive because it's just going to last longer. So that's probably the best idea. But, I mean, you can just buy a surplus and wait for your stuff to give out. I bought this really crappy lamp, and I've been having to buy replacement bulbs for it for a really long time. This one just burnt out a couple weeks ago for no apparent reason. So you gotta kind of be vigilant about this sort of stuff. And keeping up with replacing all of your dead items. Now on to the geckos themselves. Gargoyle geckos are pretty long-lived for gecko species. It's probably one of my favorite species. The all Rhacodactylus are definitely, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but they're really high up there with my favorite geckos. I got Echo at the Reptile Expo a couple of years ago. He is almost exactly 2 years old, so he's not full grown, but he's getting really close to being full grown. So he's just gonna start putting on more weight here pretty soon. I hope to breed him someday. But between that and my Lego investing, I only really have the necessary money to do one of those, not both. I use spring water for my uh, water for my animals, but you can use tap water for anything that doesn't get damaged by it. But I would use spring water to be safe. It's only like 75 cents a gallon where I'm at, so it's pretty cheap. It's just annoying to refill it all the time.